You are 33. Last night, Dean sat at your kitchen table and asked to borrow $3,000. 11 years ago, you and Dean started the same internship. Same week, same cubicle, same starting pay. Dean was the one everyone bet on. You believed it too. You said yes without checking your balance. The gap was never about the paycheck. It was about one quiet habit you started at 23. One people laughed at, one a few felt sorry for you over. You kept doing it anyway, silently, for 11 years. This is how you got out before anyone noticed you were leaving. Rewind, you're 23. First real job, badge, cubicle, a nameplate nobody reads. Money lands every 2 weeks and is gone before the next one hits. Nothing reckless. Rent, the car note, subscriptions, small upgrades that each feel harmless. You're not broke, but you're one car repair away from a problem you can't fix, and you don't know it yet. In February, you get a raise from $3,800 a year. You feel rich for 10 days. Then a better couch, a streaming bundle, a nicer gym, absorb it. 6 months later, you need another raise. Saturday nights, you stop opening your banking app. You already know roughly what it says, so you don't look. Dean looks at the same paycheck and does the opposite. He leases a silver Audi. Payments he shrugs off. 2 guys come over to admire it in the lot. Dean stands next to it like a man pulling ahead. You stand next to your Civic like a man standing still. You don't know it yet, but the way out doesn't look like winning. It looks like quietly losing on purpose. It happens on a regular Wednesday. A solid quarter, a bonus, $1,800. You wait to feel something. Nothing shows up. That night you run your whole life math. 35 more years of money landing and leaving, and at the end you'll have given every working day you had and still be one bad month from broke. It doesn't scare you. It hollows you out. The next morning you notice a man near the loading dock, late 50s, driving a beat-up Civic older than yours, never rattled by anything. Half joking, you ask how he stays so calm. He doesn't laugh. There's a difference between looking like you made it and actually making it. Most people never figure out which one they're chasing. Then he goes back to his coffee. That night you add up everything you actually own. The number is small enough to be embarrassing, so you do the thing nobody ever taught you. Every payday, the first bill you pay is to your future self, before rent, before anything. You write the number on a sticky note, circle a date on the calendar, the day you could be free if you keep feeding the future and starving the noise. You fold the note into a drawer. You tell no one. You didn't quit or announce anything. You just quietly started paying yourself first and let everyone keep assuming you were falling behind. Nobody noticed. You're 25. You've quietly stopped chasing the things you used to chase. No fight for the promotion, no upgrades. At a birthday dinner, the question makes its way to you. So what's new with you? The guy 2 seats down just made team lead. The woman beside him closed on a condo. You say you're still at the same job, things are fine. You watch the disappointed look cross their faces. Driving home, it lands. Not poverty. Something smaller. Like you're losing a race, everyone else is still running. Your job title used to answer, "Who are you?" You just gave that up with nothing yet to replace it. You're 26. Dean parks the Audi next to your Civic, new rims on it now. He looks at your car, then at you. Not cruelly, which is worse. You good, man, like actually good. You say you're fine. At lunch, 2 coworkers don't notice you behind them. I feel bad for him, honestly. Maybe he's sending money home. You don't correct them. You have more saved than the 2 of them combined and can't say a word. Nobody noticed. That was starting to be the point. You're 28. You're doing everything right and it feels worse, not better. No applause. Just a number in a drawer growing so slowly it might as well be flat. Your best friend closes on a house. Photo in the group chat. Keys, sold sign, 20 reactions in an hour. You can't match that. Maybe not for years. That night you pull the sticky note out of the drawer. The circled date is still far off. 5 years of the responsible thing, and this is what you have to show for it. You lie awake. For the first time, the thought arrives whole. Maybe they were right. Maybe you traded the good years for a spreadsheet. You're 29. The strange part is you miss the rush, the visible scoreboard, the bonus you could brag about, the title that told you where you stood. This quiet life has no scoreboard. One night you open a car financing app just to look. Your thumb hovers over the button. You picture pulling into the lot, feeling like a player again, just once. It would undo everything you've quietly built. For 30 seconds, you don't care. Your thumb stays there, in the dark. In 3 weeks, the decision gets taken out of both your hands. You're 30. A Tuesday. A layoff sweep, half the floor gone by noon. You and Dean both get the email. Standing in the parking lot holding a box, for a second, you think it might end you too. The fund is there. 8 years of saying no. Not enough to coast forever, but enough to survive if you protect it. So you make the choice that guts you. You move back in with your parents. 30 years old, same crack in the same ceiling you stared at as a teenager. You cancel the trip you'd planned. You sell the bike you spent 2 years restoring. The one thing you owned purely for joy. That night, in your childhood bed, you run the math. The date you circled at 23 is now further away than the day you started. For the first time, you don't think they were wrong about you. You think you were. You almost call it. You almost decide the whole thing was a story you told yourself to feel better about losing. But you don't drain the fund. You take the humiliation instead of the debt. Dean keeps the apartment, the Audi, the posting. From the outside, he handled it better. Never moved home, never looked like he struggled. He just did it the only way he could. More debt, a panicked job, the whole image funded by a hole quietly deepening underneath him. He still looked like he was swimming. He was drowning in a way nobody could see. Nobody noticed you were the only one who was actually safe. They were too busy noticing you'd moved home. You go back to work eventually, a job you chose, not one you grabbed because rent was due Friday. You could afford to wait. That had never been true before. Slowly, something shifts. Time stops being the thing you're always running out of. You sleep. A car repair becomes a Tuesday errand, not a crisis. A bad manager becomes someone you can walk away from, not a cage. The number was never impressive, but it bought the one thing nobody on the edge ever has. Options, the ability to say no, the ability to wait. The date you circled at 23 comes and goes on an ordinary Tuesday. You don't notice until that evening. No party. And one by one, the ones who looked like they were winning start asking you the same question. Voice lowered, almost embarrassed. Hey, how did you actually do it? You didn't escape by working less or caring less or being smarter than them. You escaped by playing a harder game. One with no scoreboard, where you had to decide for yourself what winning meant, alone, in the dark. There's a difference between looking like you made it and actually making it. You finally know which one you were chasing. You're 33. Dean is on your couch holding the coffee you made him, asking how you did it, and he means it. You think about the date you circled 10 years ago, the dinner where you felt like less, the lunch where they pitied you, the night your thumb hovered over the button, the childhood bedroom where you were sure you'd lost everything. Turns out that was the moment you'd already won. Nobody knew it yet, including you. You tell Dean the truth. For 10 years, nobody noticed you were winning. Not your friends, not your family, not Dean. That's exactly why it worked. You finally stopped playing a game that needed an audience. The race doesn't end when you get rich. It ends the second you stop running for people who are never watching anyway. Maybe you already left. Maybe you're still standing on the edge telling yourself you're fine. Maybe you're about to circle a date nobody else will ever see. If you do, nobody's going to notice but you. That's not the tragedy. That's the whole point.